Good morning, good afternoon, everyone. On behalf of our work package team, we would like to welcome everyone. I'm Dr. Priti Parikh, and I have colleagues Dr. Ella Melianda, Rina Uktari, and Intern Kumala with me today. And we're going to talk about why water and sanitation is so vital for resilient recovery and how it integrates with other work packages in our project. So why water sanitation? I led an interdisciplinary team at UCL and we reviewed 600 publications. From that evidence review, we found that if we invest in sanitation, if we take action in sanitation, it benefits all 17 Sustainable Development Goals and 130 out of 169 SDG targets. Now, what this means is that sanitation investment is not just about improving access to infrastructure, but it has a knock-on impact on climate change, health, education, housing, and well-being in general. And this is why investing in sanitation is so vital as part of the recovery process. I'm very excited to be as part of this team and project, as for the first time in my knowledge, we have an integration of expertise from earthquake engineering, psychosocial recovery, and water sanitation, and we have those experts coming together to jointly tackle the challenge of how to build resilience in schools. And when we talk about water sanitation, what type of water sanitation solutions are we really looking for? We are looking for solutions which are safety managed. So there is safety considerations here, where disposal of human waste is done in a way which is not harmful to the environment. Services which are inclusive, so every person feels comfortable using those services irrespective of gender, age, religion, disability. Services which are co-designed with local communities so that we can better understand their needs and aspirations. Especially for girls, those solutions will need to incorporate menstrual hygiene, and for children, baby wash, with the big aim and mission to end open defecation. And why are we focusing on schools and wash in schools? So schools are seen as a hub for resilient recovery. The idea is to get children back to school as quickly as possible. And this is so vital not only for their well-being, for education, for health, but also for influencing family, influencing their perspectives on resilience. And in a lot of schools, we typically find that the toilets are in very poor condition. Male-female toilets are not separated, they are not inclusive, they are not fun, they do not appeal aesthetically. And as a result of that, a lot of girls especially feel shame and embarrassment in using those facilities. And this is problematic, especially for teenage girls who are trying to get back to schools but do not have the right facilities to use in schools. And quite often we find that there's a high level of dropout in girls attending schools due to poor water sanitation facilities. Therefore, it is vital that we focus on providing water sanitation facilities in schools so that we can get those girls back into schools. I'm now going to hand over to my colleague Dr. Elia Mendanda, who leads the Indonesian team, and she's going to talk about the local context.
A very good morning, ladies and gentlemen in London, and a very good afternoon and evening, ladies and gentlemen in Banda Aceh and in Palu. And thank you for all the audience that has been joining us since the very beginning of this meeting. Thank you, Dr. Pari, for giving me the opportunity to continue the talk about our work package 2. I would like to highlight the WASH programs in general. According to Sphere Handbook, which is the book that has been used as the guideline for many humanitarian assistance programs related to WASH so far. The main objective of WASH programs is to promote good hygiene practices, the provision of safe drinking water, the reduction of environment health risks, and the conditions that allow people to live with good health, dignity, comfort, and security. So the school-based WASH programs will align certainly with the key indicators of successful WASH programs in general, according to Sphere's Handbook, which is to ensure that all groups within the populations have safe and equitable access to wash resources and facilities. And in addition to that, being satisfied on the design and implementation of WASH program will eventually lead to increased security and restoration of dignity. Providing that the global pandemic COVID-19 came into play in the early phase of post-disaster recovery in Central Sulawesi, challenges against the vector-borne disease certainly escalated. Therefore, it is important to ensure the environment where the disaster-affected people are not exposed to this additional disease, and to ensure that those factors are kept to a reduced level possible. And this leads us to research aim and objectives of Work Package 2, where the research aim is to assess the environmental needs and aspirations of local communities and concerning to access to basic services such as WASH to aid resilient recovery processes, and then intervening to improve access to those services through engagement with local communities, teachers, contractors, and governmental stakeholders. To achieve this aim, we set 4 objectives that spread throughout the entire research project lifetime. The first one is to assess gaps in infrastructure services. This includes accessibility, safety, and capacity of schools to facilitate students and surrounding community. And then to develop best practice guidelines for accessibility to WASH infrastructures in schools. To harmonize with government programs to deliver appropriate and sustainable WASH with improved service monitoring. And finally, to roll out capacity building and community preparedness program. To this end, I would like to welcome again Dr. Parikh to continue the talk. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Ella, for highlighting our research aim and objectives. I will now talk about how we are going to conduct our fieldwork. Post-COVID, we are thinking about how we can do this in close collaboration with our local partners in a way which is COVID secure. What we'd like to do is observational transit walks, which is where as a group we go and walk around the schools. We carefully look at the physical infrastructure, we look at the buildings. This would be done in close collaboration with our colleagues from Work Package 3, who are working on structural and earthquake engineering. And what I would like to see when I go into those schools is how do the doors work, handles work, how is the lighting, where does the water go from the toilets, is it treated, are the water points clean? So in order to answer all those questions, we want to go and observe and learn on site. In addition to this, we want to work closely with communities, and this would be done through focus group discussions, where we would have targeted discussions with students, teachers, and parents in a range of schools to understand what they think are challenges and opportunities for water sanitation, and what could we do better, how can we help them. We also want to do a priority mapping exercise to understand their needs and aspirations. So what is their topmost priority? Because it could be that we are focused on water sanitation, but their priority could be something else. So it's very important for us to be on the same page, and that's where priority mapping will be done. We also want to work with NGOs, contractors who are designing, who are building this infrastructure to understand what they think are the barriers and opportunities, and to see how we can work closely with them to support them in this endeavor. This would also help us to review standards and best practices around water sanitation infrastructure. We also want to combine forces with our colleagues on psychosocial analysis and knowledge. So in our questionnaires, household questionnaires, we're going to include not only the social cultural dimension, but also water sanitation access. This is also important because when we talk about water sanitation, the girls who come to school will also go back home and use those facilities. So it is important to understand what type of facilities exist in the households and how that would enable or aid them in the recovery processes. So I'm going to conclude here with a very beautiful image provided by Dr. Ella which is about her extensive work in Indonesia in post-disaster settings. So thank you very much, everyone, for joining us today. And I will now hand back to my colleagues who will discuss the next package. Thank you.